Victor Wembanyama just signed a Nike deal reportedly worth up to $100 million. But instead of universal praise, it sparked immediate backlash. Fans weren't just debating the money, they were tearing apart the shoes themselves. Let's get into it. Let's start with the moment itself. Shams Charania broke it on a Friday, and within minutes, it was everywhere. San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama signed a new long-term contract extension with Nike, including a new signature shoe line after 3 NBA seasons that took him to the finals, an MVP finalist season, Defensive Player of the Year, and a max deal. No dollar figure attached this time. The Spurs center agreed to a long-term contract extension with Nike that includes a personal shoe line and a redesigned logo, arriving with his prior Nike agreement set to expire in October, with no financial terms disclosed. But here's the thing, nobody needed a number to have an opinion. Nike dropped a video first, no warning, no press release, just a video showcasing a new logo on Friday morning, one they didn't have to explain because everybody knew who it was for. The alien's forehead forming a V, the lower half of the face forming a W, and that's when things got loud. Phoenix guard Devin Booker jumped in almost immediately, weighing in with praise, saying flat out that Wemby's got the best logo in sports. That's one voice. Then you had the sneaker accounts. Nick DePaula, who covers this stuff for a living, posted the breaking news himself, framing it as a signature shoe finally arriving. That's two. Then everyday fans piled on, some thrilled that a big man was finally getting the signature treatment usually reserved for guards, others immediately skeptical, pointing out that Nike hasn't even shown anyone what the actual shoe looks like yet, just a logo and a tagline. And that skepticism wasn't coming from nowhere, because this isn't Wemby's first rodeo with public shoe opinions. Back in June, when Nike dropped a colorway of the Cut 4 built for him, the reaction was rough. In the world of sneakers, where collabs literally sell out in seconds, Wemby's shoes were still available to buy weeks later, and the biggest issue was that they appeared to be super polarizing with the general public. Some were even labeling them hideous. That's not a small thing to say about a shoe tied to a $100 million caliber athlete. Nike's newest Victor Wembanyama shoes were polarizing to say the least. Some called them hideous. Others said they're fire, but regardless, they finally sold out. So you've already got a split verdict before the new logo even landed. One camp says this guy is about to redefine what a big man's shoe line looks like. The other camp says Nike's design team keeps missing. Now layer the timing on top of that. This didn't happen in a vacuum. Wembanyama's original Nike deal was set to expire in October, and the new pact comes on the heels of him signing a 5-year, $252 million maximum rookie-scale contract extension with the San Antonio Spurs, with the extension becoming eligible to negotiate the day after. The Spurs were eliminated in 5 games in the NBA Finals by the New York Knicks. So within the same summer, this guy secures a $250 million basketball contract and then locks up a shoe deal on top of it. To some fans, that's exactly what a generational talent deserves. To others, it's a lot of money stacking up fast for a player who's never won a title. There's also a business angle fueling the backlash, and it's not subtle. If Nike had let Wembanyama explore other potential footwear sponsors, he would have been the biggest footwear free agent in the NBA. But luckily for the struggling brand, it has solidified its future with him. Read that again. Struggling brand. That's not a rival network taking a shot. That's Nike's own coverage acknowledging the company needed this win. And once fans clocked that detail, the conversation shifted from, does Wemby deserve this, to does Nike even have the standing to be handing out this kind of money right now? Then there's the comparison that's been following Wembanyama since before he even set foot in the league. LeBron James. It's impossible to talk about this deal without somebody bringing up the king. If Wembanyama's contract reached the rumored heights, it would be the largest sneaker deal for any rookie in history, surpassing LeBron James's 7-year, $90 million deal with Nike coming out of high school in 2003. With Zion Williamson's $75 million deal, the second largest, for fans who grew up watching LeBron become the face of Nike, seeing a French teenager potentially blow past that number before he'd played a single regular season game struck a nerve. And it's worth remembering, this wasn't Nike's first attempt to lock him in, either. Long before the extension made headlines, the company was already circling. As soon as the 19-year-old center was officially announced as the first overall pick in the 2023 draft, Nike sent out a message proclaiming all eyes on his handle, with his agent Buna Ndiaye tasked with securing lucrative deals for the exceptional prospect. Speculation suggested Nike could offer him a staggering $100 million endorsement deal. With sports marketing veteran Sonny Vaccaro, the man credited with bringing Michael Jordan to Nike, predicting shoe brands could hand Wembanyama a blank check. That's the backdrop everyone's been sitting with for 3 years. A blank check narrative, a record-breaking price tag, and now a real signature shoe attached to it, with no number confirmed, which somehow made people angrier, not calmer. Silence on the figure just fed more speculation about how big it actually is. So right out of the gate, you've got 3 distinct camps forming. You've got the "he's earned every penny" crowd, pointing at the finals run, the Defensive Player of the Year trophy, the fact he's already the face of a franchise. You've got the shoe itself is the problem crowd, still smarting from the cut 4 reception, and unconvinced a new logo fixes anything. And you've got the "Nike needed this more than he did" crowd, treating the whole thing as a desperate grab from a company trying to stop the bleeding. None of those camps are quiet about it. And that tension, money, design, and a struggling shoe giant, betting everything on one very tall Frenchman, is exactly what's been playing out across timelines since the ink dried. To understand why this deal landed the way it did, though, you have to go back to where this partnership actually started. Because Wemby and Nike weren't strangers when this contract got signed. They went back years before he ever touched an NBA court. To get why this backlash hits different, you need the timeline. This wasn't some rookie walking into free agency with no history. Nick DePaula reported that Wembanyama had signed a multi-year sneaker deal with Nike while playing professional basketball in France, wearing custom Nike Zoom GT shoes in a size 20.5, with that deal set to carry over into the NBA. He signed as a teenager in Paris, years before the Spurs ever called his name, and that early signing turned into a full campaign the second his name got called at the draft. While the full amount of the Nike deal remained undisclosed, it was officially signed on June 19, 2023, with insider Nick DePaula confirming the #1 pick was already officially signed to Nike, having first inked with the brand during his pro career in France. So by the time he stepped onto an NBA floor for Summer League, the swoosh was already stitched into his story. Nike didn't waste any time turning that into marketing gold either. Rather than treat him like just another endorsement, they built a campaign around him. After the rumored $100 million shoe deal, Nike swooped in to tie him down quickly, launching a campaign with Wembanyama at the center of their marketing strategy, allowing him to share his basketball philosophy built around being a two-way player rather than reading off a script. That's an unusual level of trust for a guy who hadn't played a single professional minute in the States. But that's how much Nike believed in the bet. The alien branding didn't happen by accident either. It came from the top of the league. Many NBA players and analysts labeled Wembanyama an alien, one of them being LeBron James, who famously gave him the name, and the Spurs rookie has worn the moniker on his sleeve ever since. Nike leaned into that immediately, turning a nickname from the game's biggest star into an entire visual identity. Logos, colorways, ad campaigns, all built around extraterrestrial imagery. And the teasers were relentless. Long before any contract extension made news, Nike was already dropping cinematic trailers just to keep the hype simmering. One trailer opened with the words "somewhere in South Texas," possibly hinting at San Antonio, before panning to an open field portraying the famed logo as a total eclipse began. This is a company that understood exactly what it had on its hands and treated every drip of information like an event. That's a big reason the backlash hits the way it does now, because fans have been primed for years to expect something monumental from this partnership. When Nike teases an eclipse over Texas for a logo reveal, expectations go through the roof. So when the actual product, the shoes people can buy, gets called hideous by a chunk of the fan base, that gap between the marketing spectacle and the physical sneaker becomes the story. There's also the money conversation, which never really cooled off since 2023. Wembanyama's shoe deal with Nike was reported at over $100 million, putting his rookie contract at the top of the list, possibly tied with Hornet star LaMelo Ball's deal with Puma, as the largest rookie contract in basketball history. Other young players like Zion Williamson with Jordan Brand at 5 years and $75 million. And Ben Simmons had also inked major rookie shoe deals in the recent past, but no one had touched the $100 million mark. LeBron came closest with his 7-year, $90 million rookie deal back in 2003. So Wembanyama entered the league already carrying a price tag heavier than anyone before him, heavier than LeBron, heavier than Zion, That's not a small comparison to live up to, and it set the stage for every subsequent Nike move to be measured against. Is this worth what they're paying him? A question that never really goes away in these conversations. Then his rookie year happened, and it did more than validate the hype. It turned him into an actual merchandise machine. Following an impressive rookie season, Nike put out Wembanyama's first signature shoe, and despite minimal publicity, fans who wanted to get their hands on it had to be quick, as there was only a small window of opportunity. It was later revealed on social media that the sneakers sold out in just 5 minutes. That should have been an unambiguous win. Instead, it created its own mini controversy. Within minutes of going on sale, Wemby's shoes were sold out, leaving some fans frustrated, with the extraterrestrial-looking apple green and black shoe with glow-in-the-dark soles only taking 5 minutes to disappear. So even a sellout became a complaint. Fans furious they physically could not get the shoe, blaming Nike for limited stock, rather than celebrating the demand. That's the pattern that's followed this partnership from day one. Whatever Nike does, somebody's upset about it. By the time his second season rolled around, Nike had built out an entire rotation for him. Over his career with Nike, Wembanyama wore sneakers from the Greater Than line, mostly sticking to the GT Hustle 3 in recent seasons, receiving 9 player exclusive colorways since his first PE released in May 2024, followed by 5 colorways of the Hustle 3 and 2 of the GT Cut 4. 9 colorways in 2 years is an aggressive rollout by any measure. That's a company throwing its full marketing weight behind one player, and the branding kept multiplying beyond basketball too. After signing a deal to become a Louis Vuitton ambassador upon entering the NBA, the Spurs star inked a brand deal with Nike that included exclusive colorways and a custom logo, joining Real Madrid star Kylian Mbappé, making the duo a trio with a new athlete added to their French Nike ambassador team. So this isn't just a basketball shoe story anymore. It's a global luxury branding story, with Wembanyama sitting at the center of a Nike ecosystem that spans continents and sports. All of that history matters because it explains why the newest extension didn't land as a surprise, so much as an inevitability that still managed to spark an argument. Fans had 3 years of build-up, 9 colorways, a Rookie of the Year sellout, a hideous controversy, and a record-setting price tag to chew on before this extension even got announced. So when the new logo dropped and the internet split into camps again, it wasn't really about one shoe. It was about everything that came before it finally boiling over. Now let's zero in on the actual product, because that's where a lot of the noise is really coming from. This isn't just about contract math. It's about whether people actually like what Nike's putting on shelves. Go back to that Cut 4 release before the finals. Nike had just recently released a Wemby-labeled player-exclusive version of the GT Cut 4, selling the shoes for $210, with available sizes ranging from men's 5 to 11, and a few more sizes at Foot Locker. That's a real product, at a real price point, during one of the biggest stretches of his career, right as he was pushing his team through a Western Conference Finals run. And yet the reception wasn't unanimous celebration. It split people right down the middle. Some fans thought the design was sharp and futuristic, matching the alien branding. Others thought it looked like a mess, busy, overdone, trying too hard to be otherworldly. That's the hideous label sticking around, and it's not one random troll saying it. It's become a recurring theme every time Nike drops a new colorway for him. Compare that with how the broader sneaker industry has treated big men historically, and you start to see where some of the skepticism comes from. The old school thinking was that big men don't really sell shoes, at least compared to wings and guards. But Wemby might break that mold, like he has broken so many others. That's a real long-standing bias in the sneaker business. Centers dunk, they block shots, but historically they haven't been the ones moving units off shelves the way a scoring guard does. Wembanyama's whole signature shoe push is Nike betting against that old logic. It's a bet Nike's making with its back somewhat against the wall too. The company's broader footwear business has taken well-documented hits over the past couple years, losing ground to competitors and dealing with declining sales in key categories. That context is why insiders framed this deal the way they did, as Nike solidifying its future with him rather than simply rewarding a star. When a company that's struggling throws this much marketing weight and design innovation behind one athlete, and the product still gets called ugly by a chunk of the audience, that's a real risk, not just an internet joke. And it's not just casual fans piling on. Respected voices in the league have weighed in on how urgently Nike needed to get this signed. Some of Nike's biggest stars have departed the company in recent years, with Kyrie Irving being perhaps the most infamous example. And Nike can't afford to lose Wembanyama too, with retired guard Lou Williams saying flatly that whatever company signs him should throw that bag at him and not overthink it. That's a former player, not a marketing analyst, publicly pushing Nike to overpay just to keep him in the family. When guys inside the league start talking that way, it tells you how much value people place on this relationship and how nervous some of them are about Nike blowing it. Then there's the Steph Curry angle, which fans brought up almost immediately after this extension dropped. ESPN's Shams Charania announced that Curry, who had been a sneaker free agent for a while, signed a 10-year endorsement deal with Li Ning, reportedly worth over $400 million. That number dwarfs anything being whispered about Wembanyama's deal, and plenty of fans used it as ammunition, arguing Wemby's camp left money on the table by not testing true free agency the way Curry did. As time ticks down on his contract with the brand, the French star had all the leverage heading into negotiations, but breaking Curry's $400 million mark still seems far-fetched at this point in his career. So even fans who like the extension are debating whether he settled too early. But not everything about the branding has been controversial. Some of it has genuinely landed well, which makes the split reaction even more interesting. The signature logo itself, separate from any specific shoe colorway, has actual admirers across the league. The alien logo was well received by fans and athletes, with Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker praising the design on social media, saying Wemby's got the best logo in sports. So you've got a genuine contradiction running through this entire saga. People loving the branding and hating individual shoe designs at the same time, all under the same Nike umbrella. Even lighter moments tied to the brand have gone viral for reasons that have nothing to do with contract math. One fan's reaction to a Wembanyama highlight, going behind his back on Damian Lillard before dunking on Brook Lopez, was caught on camera looking stunned, and that reaction ended up featured in Nike's latest ad. Fans loved that one specifically because it felt human, unscripted, nothing like the polished Eclipse trailers Nike usually leans on. One fan reaction summed it up bluntly on social media, joking that Nike had dropped a new commercial featuring the same fan reacting to the dunk, calling the marketing undefeated. So that's the split you're dealing with. The logo gets praised by all stars. The ad campaigns go viral for their creativity. But individual shoe colorways keep getting hit with the hideous label, and industry veterans are publicly begging Nike not to fumble the bag on retaining him. It's not one clean story. It's a tug of war between genuine admiration for the branding and real frustration with specific products and the money behind them. And that tug of war doesn't happen in isolation. It's tangled up with a much bigger question that's been following this whole partnership since the day it started. Whether a 7'4" center, no matter how talented, can actually justify being paid like the top wing scorers in league history. That's the debate that's about to take center stage. Here's where the real argument sits. Underneath all the logo debates and colorway complaints, can a center, even a generational one, actually sell shoes the way a guard does? That question has shadowed every dollar figure attached to this deal. The doubt isn't new, and it isn't coming from nowhere. The old school thinking in the sneaker business has always been that big men don't really move shoes compared to wings and guards. Go back through NBA's signature shoe history, and you'll notice it's dominated by guys who play on the perimeter. Scorers, playmakers, guys whose highlight reels are built on crossovers and stepbacks, not shot blocking. That's the mold Wembanyama is trying to break, and plenty of people in the industry aren't convinced yet. Nike's own current signature roster tells that story pretty clearly. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Devin Booker, and Ja Morant. And LeBron and KD were the only ones to get their own signature lines as rookies. Giannis is the closest comparison in terms of size and position, and even he didn't get his signature shoe as a rookie the way Wembanyama's now being positioned to receive one. That's a genuinely rare honor Nike's extending, and it's fair for people to ask whether the sales will actually back it up. There's also a scheduling wrinkle feeding the skepticism. Detroit's Cade Cunningham also has a signature sneaker line scheduled to launch in 2027. There are no exact specifics on when the Wemby one will actually release, but Nike typically announces signature shoe deals about 18 to 24 months before they plan to drop the sneaker, meaning fans might get a Cunningham and Wembanyama signature debut in the same year. So the two are essentially getting launched into competition with each other. A guard against a 7'4" center, and fans are already picking sides on who's going to actually outsell who. The financial backdrop makes all of this heavier than it would otherwise be. Nike's not operating from a position of total strength right now, and multiple reports have framed this extension explicitly around the company needing a win. Had Nike let Wembanyama test the market, he would have been the biggest footwear free agent in the league, and locking him down was described as lucky for the struggling brand. When a company that's fighting for market share bets this much marketing and design capital on one center, the stakes for that center actually selling product go up dramatically. It's not just about star power anymore. It's tied to a business trying to stabilize itself. That's part of why the shoe design criticism stings more than it would for a random athlete's colorway. If the shoes are polarizing and slow to sell in a normal market cycle, and the parent brand is already under pressure, the backlash isn't just aesthetic griping. It's fans and analysts openly wondering whether this specific bet is going to pay off. But there's another side to this argument that gets buried under the noise, and it's worth putting front and center. Wembanyama isn't a traditional plotting center. His game looks nothing like the bigs who came before him. And that's exactly the argument Nike's making with every campaign. San Antonio's center is ascending right before our eyes to what many prognosticators always said he would become. Move over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Take a seat Nikola Jokic. Adios LeBron. Wemby, the alien, is suddenly considered the best player on the planet. That's not a small claim from sports media. If a 7'4" shot blocker really is being talked about as the single best player in basketball, the old rule book about centers not selling shoes might not apply to him at all. His actual on-court production backs up why Nike's willing to gamble this much money on breaking that mold. The bar was set high for Wembanyama entering the league, and the 7'4" prospect managed to live up to expectations, finishing his rookie year averaging 21.4 points, 10.6 rebounds, and 3.9 assists per game, earning Rookie of the Year. He led all rookies in scoring, rebounds, and blocks, becoming only the second rookie in NBA history to lead the league in blocks with 254 total, the only other being Manute Bol during the 1985-86 season. That's not a stat line that fits the big men don't sell shoes stereotype. Historically, that stereotype was built around plotting, back to the basket centers with no perimeter game. Wembanyama shoots threes, handles the ball, blocks shots at a historic clip, and still moves like a guard. Nike's entire bet is that this specific combination, one that's never really existed in the league before, is exactly what breaks the old sales logic wide open. The polarizing shoe reactions might actually be part of that same story rather than a contradiction of it. New silhouettes built for a body type that's never existed at this skill level are always going to look unfamiliar at first. That's true of most genuinely new signature shoes when they debut, before people's eyes adjust to them. Some of the loudest, hideous complaints have come alongside genuine curiosity about what a shoe built specifically for someone his size and skill set should even look like, since there's no direct blueprint to copy. So the can he sell shoes debate isn't really settled yet, and that's honestly the most interesting part of this whole story. It's not a closed argument where the backlash proves he can't do it. It's an open one, playing out in real time, with genuine evidence on both sides. A struggling shoe brand betting everything, a fan base split on the designs, and a player whose statistical profile has never really existed before in NBA history. And that open question is exactly where things stand today, heading into a stretch that's going to determine a lot more than just shoe sales. So here's where things actually sit right now. Nike's made its bet, the ink is dry, and the noise hasn't stopped since the announcement dropped. The company itself has been careful with its public messaging, choosing words that lean into partnership rather than pure transaction. Nike stated it's proud to continue supporting Victor Wembanyama's journey, calling him one of the most unique and influential athletes in the world, a generational talent who continues to inspire the game's next generation. That's the kind of language companies use when they're trying to project stability, especially after reports painted this extension as something the brand needed as much as he did. And Nike's confirmation of his status wasn't quiet either. Nike confirmed Wembanyama as its next signature athlete, releasing a statement calling the Spurs star one of the most unique and influential athletes in the world. That puts him in genuinely rare company. Nike currently has signature shoes for LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Devin Booker, Ja Morant, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with Cade Cunningham set to join that group in 2027. That's the entire current class of Nike's most marketed stars, and Wembanyama is now officially part of it, whether or not every fan agrees on the shoe designs getting him there. What still hasn't happened is any real reveal of the actual sneaker people will eventually buy. The Wemby one is on the way, along with a new signature logo, but currently, there are no images, pricing, or projected release dates for it. That gap between announcement and actual product is exactly where the backlash keeps living. A logo everyone's already debating, and a real shoe nobody's actually seen yet. Until that drops, the hideous or fire argument that's followed his last few colorways doesn't have a real answer. Some fans have already made peace with the uncertainty by leaning into the design philosophy behind it. Instead of simply promoting products Nike is already making, Wembanyama and his fans are getting a shoe specifically built for him, with his name and new logo on it, and as someone who takes special care with his own brand. He's expected to have real influence on the design. That detail matters to the people defending this deal. This isn't a generic silhouette getting slapped with his name. If the finished product reflects his actual input, rather than just marketing department guesswork, the hideous critiques attached to earlier colorways might not carry over to the real signature line at all. There's also a quieter storyline running underneath all of this that doesn't get talked about enough. The money conversation isn't just about him anymore. With his existing relationship with Nike and the prospects of becoming one of the greatest players to ever play the game, there's no ceiling for what Wembanyama could accomplish, which will make him the calling card for a lot of other endorsement deals. Every future rookie negotiating with Nike, every young big man wondering if his size will limit his marketability, is going to point back at this contract as the reference point. That's a weight that goes beyond one player's shoe sales. And there's still an entire chapter of this story that hasn't been written yet. Whether he actually gets that championship the Spurs came so close to. This has nearly been the perfect summer for Victor Wembanyama, as the Spurs star reached the NBA Finals but fell short against the New York Knicks, coming after he unanimously won the 2025-26 Defensive Player of the Year award. Every future colorway, every ad campaign, every argument about whether this shoe deal was worth it is going to be measured against whether he eventually closes that gap and brings a title back to San Antonio. Meanwhile, the actual voices inside the league keep weighing in, unprompted, on how much this matters. The San Antonio star just won the Defensive Player of the Year award, and at 7'4", his offensive skill set has never been seen before, with no doubt that the former #1 overall pick has started living up to his potential as one of the most highly touted prospects ever. That's the kind of praise that keeps piling weight onto every Nike decision going forward. The bigger he gets as a player, the bigger the microscope on whether the shoe business actually catches up. So where does that leave the backlash? It hasn't disappeared, and honestly, it's probably not supposed to. Some fans are always going to think a 7'4" shot blocker shouldn't be commanding the same numbers as the league's flashiest scorers. Some are always going to look at specific colorways and call them ugly, no matter how the logo tests with players like Booker. And some are always going to point at Nike's larger struggles and wonder if this bet gets bailed out purely by how good Wembanyama is on the court, rather than how well the shoes themselves actually move. But that tension is exactly what makes this worth watching. A rookie contract that broke records before he played a single regular season game. A logo that players around the league genuinely admire. A run of colorways that keeps splitting opinion down the middle. A struggling shoe giant staking its future on a player whose statistical profile doesn't match anything that's come before him. And a signature shoe that still hasn't even been unveiled, sitting right at the center of all of it. That's not a story with a clean ending yet. It's one that's still being written, one colorway, one game, one finals run at a time, with Victor Wembanyama standing at the middle of it, alien logo and all.